Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayowealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
George Politarhos, exhale. Kind of a
How you doing, buddy?
How you feeling?
Half the country's happy,
Yeah.
half the country's not happy.
Right.
I did something, Mark, I never thought I'd do in my lifetime. I voted early.
I thought you were going to say ordered
in
a salad.
person. No, please. Let's not get crazy
Sorry.
with that crap.
It's crazy times. We're not that crazy yet.
My whole family and I voted on Sunday, and I never thought I'd do it. I like waiting in line. I like the atmosphere of voting, because if you didn't take the time to vote, guess what? Don't complain about a darn thing if the person that you think should have won.
We've been saying it for, what feels like 2 years now. If your retirement portfolio hinges on the White House right now, you do not have a strong retirement portfolio.
Correct. You really don't. You have to plan accordingly. You have to sit there. When you work with my team here at Betrayo Wealth and we do the Family First Retirement Plan, Mark, we're taking those things in consideration. We spent a lot of money getting a proprietary program that helps us really, to the best of our ability, forecast the future and plan and see signs and trends and be able to move in the markets and with the funds we have in the accounts to benefit our customers, our family members. That's why I really think it's so important about having diversification. Having that, not everything in one basket, right? You need managed funds for some risk. And when the markets change, you can move out of those quickly into cash, for example, but you need safety. You always need to have some safety. You need to have emergency funds, quickly liquid assets. That's that savings account where you have the money in. The emergency funds, the safety net, I should say, is the fixed index annuities. So if the world goes to hell in a handbag, we can never go backwards. We can never lose something.
Right.
Because even though maybe your person, the candidate that you chose, didn't win for president or senate or district attorney, it's still important to have a safety net. So if the world goes to heck in a handbag, we can never go backwards, right? We have that level. But if the markets start to perform, when they start to perform, we can go into there and take advantage of it. But that starts with having a plan.
So we talk about diversification every week here on Family First Retirement. And you just mentioned the importance and the power of being diversified. But give me a couple of examples of that, because, how often do you find that somebody has too much invested in one allocation, or just 90% here, 10% here? Does it happen more than we think, just because, not because of something we've done wrong, we just don't know better?
We just don't know better.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Because get this thing called life in the way, Mark.
Yeah.
Right? We had an election where our brain was almost numb to what was going on. We were being so overstimulated with one commercial after another commercial, after talking to people over dinner, having a headache constantly.
Right.
And we didn't look at life. We didn't look at what was going on with our investments. And here's a prime example. We had a meeting last week here at the office on 501 Silverside Road. Myself, Achilles, and Ernie was with us. Ernie Calais, our strategic business partner, who was our CPA. And our customers are from New Jersey. And he looked at his portfolio and said, I haven't touched this in 5 years. I am so X. What do you think?
Right.
The gentleman is 66 years old. He's at 95% equity in his retirement. So that's 95% in the market. We said right away, we have a high volatility, right? You're pretty proportionate out of that realm where you should be. We reallocated funds for him in his 401k that day. The next day, the market took a big hit. He called us at dinner and said, thank you for taking the extra time to do that for me.
Right.
Because he had so much at risk. And there's a prime example of a person who 4 years ago lost $175,000. He had to be aggressive to try and catch up to where he was, and he just broke even after 4 years. So it's about having the proper portion. And even within your retirement account, not making it hard. Let's just take, you have $100,000 in a managed fund that would manage for you here at Betrayo Wealth. The proper allocation within that fund, you never want to be more than 5% in a certain industry. So you don't want to be 5% in airlines and then 30% in defense, for example. You want to allocate yourself and reposition yourself every month. We'll look at that to purport. We had big gains in airlines, for example. We're going to take out of airlines and go back into our preset determination where we should be within the funds. And having that mix along with your safe money in a fixed index annuity, along with the proper emergency funds, along with the proper allocation for long-term care, all these things have to go together to have a coherent plan for your retirement. Mark, we go back to saying, if I was 40 years old, I have a different mindset than I'm 65
Right.
old, which we're getting closer to, right? And that's how this works. That's what our job is at Betrayal Wealth. So if you've saved over $200,000 plus for retirement, or you have over $200,000 in that 401k, that TSP for our federal employees, a 403b, give us a call at 302-330-2166, and let's look at your allocations. Let's do that review of your accounts. How about this? Come on in and let me do a free year-end review of your positions to see if it's where you really want to be, or even if you know where you're at. You may not realize what you're in. Let's take the time and work on this together.
That initial consultation, no cost, no obligation from George and the team. Let's talk about federal employees here for just a couple of minutes. You do a lot of work with federal employees. And George, let's talk to them for a couple of minutes. How is their strategies different than somebody in the private sector?
Well, they're still lucky enough to have a pension, which a lot of people do not have a pension. And the formula for that is confusing at times, but pretty straightforward. And we can help them understand how that pension is going to go. So for your average federal employee, you have three avenues of income, Mark, in retirement. You have that pension. You have their version of a 401k, which is called a thrift savings plan. And we have Social Security. But you also, and what's nice is that that individual has three avenues plus. But we also look at your spouse's package or benefits to go with that, because you need to know where we're going to go. You need to understand what your federal employee health benefit coverage is. FEHB, it's called. And for us out there with open enrollment, we're at open enrollment now with Medicare, right? So folks, October 15th through December 7th is open enrollment for Medicare. You need to give us a call, if nothing else, to get the answers about that, because Snoop Dogg on TV can't give you the answers about Medicare Advantage or supplement. Angie at Betrayal Wealth can.
All right, let's take a minute there. Let's give Angie her props as well, because
Absolutely.
Angie, not only one of the great
She's
team
a bear.
members, yes, she is a bear. She's also your sister, but more importantly,
great what she does.
And she knows all about the world of Medicare. Talk about her for a second.
Well, obviously, we just said October 15th through December 7th is open enrollment for Medicare. What's the right plan for me? Do I choose Medicare Advantage? Do I choose a supplement plan? Do I need a prescription plan? What's the bells? What's the whistle? What is the right fit for you? And that's what Angie's going to take care of. Because it's like the political commercials. There's so many out there. Do you listen anymore?
I know.
There's so many things for Medicare Advantage. How many pieces of mail are you getting mailed to you about Medicare Advantage, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, supplement, prescription, silver? Enough. Go right to the horse's mouth. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, obviously, to Angie, but she has a vast knowledge. She knows the ins and outs. What's the plan? What's the opportunity for you? She lays them out side by side so that you can make the educated decision, Mark, about your Medicare. It's a huge cost.
Yeah.
Huge expense. You need to make the right choice. It's not something you keep changing back and forth, even though every year we can change plans. But you need to make the right choice to get in the right position to move forward.
And George, we have questions about our Medicare. Angie is the person to talk to. How do we get in touch with her?
Give us a call at 302-330-2166. That's 302-330-2166. We'll get you scheduled at no cost, no obligation with Angie to go over those questions and all the other ones you have in regards to retirement.
And, of course, you can find the team at betrayalwealth.com, PATRIA wealth.com. Let's continue this conversation about how you support the federal employees of the community. And you've mentioned before the importance of knowing your survivor benefits. Tell me more about that.
Correct. So when we talk about your pension, and we as customers, as a team, individuals, is called a pension. The government does not refer to your pension as a pension. It's called an annuity. Okay, so you are an annuitant when you go into retirement. But your survivor benefit for your spouse, they want to, and they charge you a fee for your spouse to get a survivor benefit. Now, for federal employees, if I want my wife or husband to receive half of my pension upon my passing, I pay 10% charge premium for my whole life until I die.
Right.
Okay. For him or her to get half of my pension. So let's use round numbers. $1,000 pension a month. They would charge you 10%, which is $100, for your spouse to receive $500 when you pass away. Does it make sense for everybody? No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. But that's what's so important about sitting down with us, because we deal with this every day. You know, I'll be honest with you, and I've always made it quite clear that I really worry about women and the female counterparts when it comes to retirement planning, due to the fact of my parents' situation, my mom. I see my mom in everybody. But when we talk about that, if we're the same age, Mark, Leslie and I, she will outlive me as an average 6 to 8 years down the road. Mm-hmm. Just the way it is. So if the wife in a couple is younger, I'm usually more pushing, I guess, or advising, depending on the other situations, about taking survivor benefit, because she'll benefit from it, mm-hmm. but I need to know what the costs are going to be. But if it's the other way around for the husband, depending, it may not be the right thing to do. But these are the things that it's not black and white. There's a gray area to this, depending on your situation, depending on how your finances are. If you have a TSP, how much is your TSP? Do we have Social Security? What Social Security are we going to take? Other investments, other opportunities. Do we have a big mortgage? It's not a real simple DIY question.
Yeah.
And that's why when we step into this, we're going to dive into it deep. We're going to go through it. We're going to explain the pros and cons, the break-even points, and then we can make an educated decision. But this is all things that start with you calling us at 302-330-2166. Because so many times, Mark, people just go through life. We talked about it earlier. You just go through life. You don't pay attention. You need the plan. You need to stop putting your head in the sand. We do not have the money the politicians have, right? We can't just raise taxes.
Yeah.
But what we can do is plan accordingly. And let me help you plan so that you can make an educated, enlightened decision. Give me a call at 302-330-2166. And let's jump into that.
You can meet the team, patriawealth.com, P-A-T-R-I-A, wealth.com. You can schedule that consultation from the homepage. Talk about politicians. They have the ability with one stroke of the pen to give themselves a raise as they're working. They don't have to go through 15 different layers. What about us as we approach and into retirement, George? How do you help so that we can give ourselves a raise in retirement, so we continue to build income even though we're not working anymore? What are some options for income in retirement?
Well, when we do a family first retirement plan for you, Mark, we're playing for inflation, obviously. There's some things we get cost of living adjustments, supposed to, for Social Security. It's not promised or guaranteed. If you have a pension, a lot of times that COLA is included in there. But I really like the opportunities to use an annuity in that case to have increased income when we need it available for us down the road. What's nice about the fixed index annuities we work with is, A, we have safety. First and foremost, tomorrow I'll never have less money than I had today, come heck or high water.
Right.
B, I can turn on an income stream out of that to be what I need it to be to fill my needs in retirement. And usually it has to wait till after the first year of having the product in place. But having that proper mix where I can have the promises and the guarantees are so important to me. We don't have a lot guaranteed in the world. There's not a lot of things we can control.
Right.
We can't control the stock market. We can't control wars going on in the world.
I can't control
taxes.
What's going to upset my wife, because even the littlest thing can put her over the edge.
I got to tell you a funny story when you just said that, Mark, and she's going to kick me right in the hiney. We have Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
Every Sunday at the Politarhos house, the kids are over. Mr. Archer's there. I love being with my family. That makes it priceless to me in life. Well, Leslie made dessert this week, and I butchered it. She made this unbelievable apple pie she makes. It's a different type of apple pie. She does the apples. She puts a cake a mix on top of it.
Okay.
Egg, oil, and then we bake it off.
Let's go.
It was great. And she told me to do something. And she said, I want you to add a little butter to this for me. I said, okay, dear. Our definition of little is a big difference. So I put in, instead of putting a little, I put in a little.
Yeah.
I melted it, and all of a sudden it looked like a swimming pool.
Again, I don't see the problem.
I do I. Obviously, my wife did. And then she kind of looked at me and said, what did you do to me? And she said, okay, let's try and broil this up and look like creme brulee. Oh my gosh. I thought I just like robbed the bank. The whole day, I'm like, I'm so sorry, Les. And she just looked at me like, you idiot. But yeah, it was questionable.
Okay, yeah, but the question is, how was the dessert with the 3 pounds of butter?
We went and bought dessert, but I ate the original.
Thank you. How
I'm
was
like,
it?
this is delicious.
See.
God, Les, you should make this every week.
Oh,
It was.
Oh, it wasn't good?
It wasn't her fault. It's
because of the butter?
Because she's an awesome baker. I just screwed it up.
Are you saying that because you know she's listening right now? Or do you really think that?
My wife would never hold grudges. She'd never get mad at me. It was great. I loved it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
302 330
2166. Please call and help me out today.
302 330 A for effort, son. A for effort. PetraeaWealth.com.
God help us.
PATRIA wealth.com. I don't even know. Let's go back to the annuity conversation here. I think that's what we were talking about before. Listen, you start talking around a butter and dessert around us, we're going to get off track just a little bit. But the power of an annuity, George, there's layers to annuities. Some are good, some are bad. How often do you find that they're going to help benefit a portfolio?
8 times out of 10.
Okay.
It's not the right fit for everybody. And there's a place for it. And like Mark just said, there's good annuities and there's bad annuities. And it has to fit your needs, wants, and desires and be a coherent part of your plan. There are really 4 different annuities you're going to see out there, folks. And please do me a favor. If you just heard the word annuity and your head started to spin around, stop. What's your Social Security? It's an annuity. What's your pension? It's an annuity. So you have to have the right product to fit your needs. So when we talk about annuities, there's 4 you're going to hear about out there. You're going to hear about a variable annuity, immediate annuity, deferred annuity, and an indexed annuity. There are your 4 you're going to hear about. I am not a fan of variable annuities. Right off the top, we're allowed to sell them. We're licensed to sell them. I do not sell them. And the reason being is that A, they have very high fees, and the name says variable. What's variable mean to you, Mark?
Could go this way, could go that way.
Go up and go down. You can make and lose money just as you can with being the S&P 500, the stock market.
So it's like my belt loop. My belt loop, sometimes it goes this way, sometimes it goes that way.
No, it only goes shorter.
It does.
Because I know you keep... Anyway.
It's the damn butter conversation, okay?
But there's risk involved with it, and there's very high fees as a rule. If that's the type of product we're looking for, we're going to manage those funds for you. Less fees, more control, more opportunities. The immediate annuity is an income rider. Income rider. So it means that you put your money into this insurance company, and within 30 days up to a year, you start an income stream for life out of that product. I personally do not like the income riders, only because once you turn on the income of that product, guess what? It's not your money anymore. It's the insurance company's money, and they're going to give you an allowance that you got when you're 10 years old for cutting the grass. The deferred annuity is the same thing. It's an income providing unit item that starts after 12 months. Once again, once I turn that income, it's no longer mine. Now, please keep in mind, Mark, some people need that. That fits their needs.
Yeah.
What they're looking to do. And if that's the case, when we do this, perfect. I have some fantastic companies that offer them, and we'll see what's the right fit for you. But most of my customers are in indexed annuities. So A, they have no cost, no fees. B, I can never, heard that word, right? Never go backwards. Never lose a cent of your money. And C, we get to share in the upsides of the market.
Right.
That's a great, I just pictured when I was saying this in my head, a date thing to go with your managed funds. You know, when you walk down the street, I hold Leslie's hand, we go shopping or go out somewhere, I hold my wife's hand. A fixed index annuity holds your managed funds hands really well. Because sometimes Leslie swings my arm higher than I do. Sometimes I swing her arm. The annuity, the markets go up, my managed fund swings my arm up. When the market's going down, my index annuity steps up to control it and swing it back and forth. So they go really well together, proportionate to your age, your risk, and even more importantly, Mark, how you sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have $200,000+ saved for retirement, you really need to see how we can get that date item to go well for you. So when you call us at 302-330-2166, let's schedule that no cost, no obligation meeting. Let's take it and see how the Family First Retirement Plan is going to work for you. If for nothing else, get rid of that gray area, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about how things are confused in our head sometimes because there's so many things running around in that mouse ramp.
Especially this time of the year. There's a lot going on with the holidays almost here.
But let's make it black and white. Yeah. Let's take that question mark out and see what it looks like, how it's going to go forward, and that you're going to be able to accomplish your tasks. So give us a call, 302-330-2166. That's 302-330-2166.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.